Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to episode 125 of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Executive Editor of Total Retail. Today I'm joined by Chad McIntosh, Vice President of Asset Protection and Risk Management at Bloomingdale's, the upscale department store chain. We're going to be discussing Bloomingdale's use of learning technology from Xonify to help better train its in-store associates. Thanks for joining me, Chad.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
So let's talk a little bit about, I mentioned that you're now working with Xonify for training purposes, but let's look back and, prior to working with Xonify, what were the challenges that Bloomingdale's encountered around training its in-store associates?
Yeah, Joe, I think that's a great question. Our historical look at it was actually we were doing all the traditional things. We new hire orientation. We had rallies in the stores. We had staff meetings in the stores to convey our asset protection message to the management of the stores as well as the store family. And we really never understood whether or not they were getting our message, were they applying our message, and who was actually getting the message, quite frankly.
And was that a time-consuming process, too? Can you talk about, what that training, prior to working with Xonify, what did that look like? Was it, a day or 2 days off the sales floor? How did that work?
So the new hire orientation is a week-long event for us, and the asset protection message is really an hour out of that week. But when you think about the associates coming into the Bloomingdale's environment, they were getting so much information in that week. Our message was getting lost in the process. So it was something that we were looking for a way to reinforce it so that we could change behaviors and make our environment safer for everybody.
Yep. So I mentioned that you're now working with Xonify. So what was attractive to Bloomingdale's about their learning technology solution?
Well, I think it solved a couple of my challenges. One, it was a better way for us to get to every associate in our organization with our message and the lessons we wanted them to learn. It was a great way for us to measure their understanding, so the baseline knowledge, and then the knowledge lift that came with our reinforcement process. And then it really allowed me to identify where our opportunities from a training and follow-up were by department in a store, by associate within a department in a store. Never before were we ever able to do that.
So then it's an ongoing training, I would imagine, as new things develop, that you're able to then train associates more easily with this tool?
It is. We have changed the way that we train associates at Bloomingdale's. So we recently added additional elements into it from a selling perspective and a service perspective, things that Bloomingdale's are well known for. But now we can measure things today from a selling and service perspective and give that information to management. So we literally have, Xonify literally has been a game changer for us in the way that we train associates today in our environment.
So let's talk about the specific ways that your associates are using this new tool, and then kind of a secondary part to that question: what's their feedback? How's their reaction to the Xonify tool?
The feedback has been very, very positive. First of all, so today we train with safety, we train with asset protection, we train with risk management. We also have added in components of selling and service, as I mentioned earlier, which has really required everybody to participate. Prior to bringing in the selling and service component of it, it was all kind of an optional process at Bloomingdale's. But now that we've added selling and service, it has been a requirement. So we have seen participation levels jump dramatically in our stores today, to the point where we have stores that operate at 94 to 100% compliance and everybody using the tool. So we know the messages are getting to them. We know that we're changing behaviors, not only from a safety and asset protection standpoint, but we are now providing the sales floor with a more confident selling associate, that can handle anything that comes along.
When are they using this tool? Is it built into their regular shift? Is it when maybe the sales floor is down, some downtime on the sales floor? Can you talk about when they're accessing the tool?
So they do access the tool throughout the day, Joe, but predominantly when they sign on in the morning and actually use the register to log on, our training is done through our point of sale system. So they log on in the morning as they're clocking in, if you will. They go to the icon that we've established for them, and they get their training that way. So they literally, every morning, they have the opportunity to participate, but we are finding that they will do it throughout the day if they have some downtime as well.
And maybe I should preface this question by saying, first, when did Bloomingdale's implement and start going live with this Exonify platform?
So we started the process in 2010, and I literally focused on safety in the stores initially because I could measure it from month to month based on our claims experience. And I will tell you that it has been a huge savings for our organization. So in those first 4 years of it, I know I saved over $10 million in claims reduction in our store. That meant that we were providing a safer environment for our customers as well as our associates.
Yeah, that's a perfect lead into my next question. You might have already answered it, Chad, but is really the business benefits that Bloomingdale's is realizing as a result of implementing the Exonify platform? Is that cost savings around asset management? And maybe you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so beyond the safety component that's very clear to us, we're now working to identify how we connect participation to employee engagement, how we connect participation to inventory shortage in the store, and getting the associates more involved in those processes that really kind of set the tone for the customer experience. When they show up in a store, happy, engaged selling associates means that they're going to have a better experience. So we're really trying to leverage the tool in as many different directions as we possibly can because we've seen very clear benefits to our organization in the way that our associates are operating.
And then my final question is, what are some of the different ways that Bloomingdale's is planning to use Exonify going forward?
Well, beyond the selling and service component, we will look at, as we get ready for the next engagement survey, how do we ask them questions to measure things and be sure that the questions on the engagement survey connect with our selling associates so we get a clear understanding of how they're involved in the process and running our business. We also use the tool to, if we need to get an emergency message out to our entire organization, we certainly have used it previously in New York City when we were elevating the terror threat in New York City and getting a message to every associate about certain things that they needed to do to protect themselves. So we find a lot of flexibility in the tool. We get a lot of feedback from our selling associates that they feel safer, better prepared for things because of the tool.
Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank Chad McIntosh of Bloomingdale's for joining me today and telling me a little bit about how the company is using sales training technology from Exonify. Please check out our podcast channel page, mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. So make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. Thanks, and I look forward to you joining us on the next episode of Total Retail Talks.